What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be taking you through an exercise that is extremely valuable for getting more accurate with your picking and fretting hands, so I guess accuracy in general. And I will say that this might be better suited for those of you who are, sneaking into the intermediate realm if you're not already there. Of course you can participate in this if you're a beginner player. You just might not be able to jump in and, mess around with this exercise in a fluid manner right away. But you can, of course, play with this technique. We're using a really, really valuable technique that you can hear, inside of, Jimi Hendrix is coming to mind, and then maybe more contemporary stuff like indie pop, bedroom pop. And anyways, it's a great little exercise, but it is extremely applicable to your playing right freaking now. So I'll take you through the exercise. I'll quickly explain how it can be applied to your playing in a few contexts, and then you can use it, put it on the front end of your sessions, and feel really good moving into all the songs and solos you want to learn afterwards. If you do find it helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting more and more of these types of videos out there, lessons, small lessons, whatever you want to call them. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see, anything you want to work on, an exercise you want. So we're going to be working with double stops, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the really basic pentatonic scale, but what we're doing is we're doubling up notes. Excuse the guitar faces as always, and it just gives us an interesting flavor. The reason this is really helpful for accuracy is, we're not just barring we're not just barring the strings and slapping our finger down. We've got ring and pinky in certain situations. They're going to be layered, obviously on the pentatonic scale, or in this shape specifically. We're going, whole step, but then we're going whole and half. So when you layer those, you've got your ring and your pinky in different places, all right? So it's really helpful, again, for accuracy because your fretting hand is going to be moving to two strings and sometimes in different places, and then your picking hand has to hit those two strings accurately. Otherwise, it's going to sound sloppy. This isn't like, power chords. You want to hit these strings accurately so that they sound really clean and you can actually get this texture sounding really good. All right, so if you need some examples, look up in the background of like Axis Bold as Love, he's doing some, double stop flourishes. Things like that. If you're familiar with the song, he's doing some, double stop flourishes in the background. Castles Made a Stand has a few double stop moments that are really nice. There's the whole double stop, beginning to the solo on Wind Cries Mary. Anyways, there's some good stuff inside of Hendrix playing. And then for like indie pop, I feel like I'll hear some major chords, and then in between them, anyways, there's a lot of context, a lot of ways in which you can apply this exercise. So let's get right into it. Or I shouldn't say right into it. I know I've rambled now for a few minutes. But here is the exercise. And then you'll just restart it. And hopefully you can see if you just compare playing single notes and double stops, there's a finesse, there's an accuracy that's needed to play those double stops and make them sound good. I'll even say that I think as I'm playing through, I'm rushing a little bit. You know, I always feel like when I'm making these videos, it's like I'm worried about how it's going to look, and then I start rushing, and that's life, right? But what I think is really important for everyone to understand is, you know, make sure this sounds really clean and it sounds really crisp. Set a metronome. I don't have a metronome next to me. I usually use my phone. I'm using my phone to film. But you know, set up a metronome. Make sure everything sounds high quality. And I always think a good rule of thumb with, you know, playing along with a metronome is set it to a BPM that's slower than you think is necessary. You know, if it's just a little too fast, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna rush through some mishits that might be really valuable for you to hear. Remember, this should be practice, so it shouldn't be like jam scenario, gig scenario where you're playing full speed. It should allow you to get in tune, you know, that mind-muscle connection, mind-finger connection. Am I really hitting both notes at the same time? You know, is that really clear that I'm hitting it at the same time? Because it feels like that, but is it really, you know, audible? Et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of ways where you can analyze your playing and get immediate feedback. So I would just really suggest playing through this for about 5 minutes on repeat, you know, slow metronome. If you're a beginner, you might want to just it might sound a little more fragmented as you kind of just work through it, and that's okay. So you might not put the metronome on, that's all good. But I think just playing through it for 5 minutes, all of a sudden, you'll feel that much better as you jump into the songs and solos you want to learn. You know, I would probably put a few more drills just to get myself, you know, well acclimated to playing and everything for the day. But if you're short on time, something like this is excellent. Again, for just 5 minutes, you'll feel that much better going into the songs and solos you want to learn. And I think to wrap it up, you know, I basically gave you some of the scenarios. If you're in the key of D major, this is the D major, you know, scale. So if you wanted to, you can break this up. You know, you can mess around with, you know, basically the double stops we're playing. And you can, you know, jam with it on top of like a D major backing track, for example. It's not a requirement, but you know, that's something you can mess around with. Of course, like something like this. You know, something like that. You can mess around with some of the shapes you're seeing inside of this exercise and just apply it to the things you like to play and mess around with it, right? Give yourself some opportunities to express yourself creatively. This is a creative expression. So anyways, I hope that's been helpful. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you did find it helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.